Rise and grind, folks. Guys, I am on the way to an existing customer. This is a heat maintenance. I know we did something here before. She has a gas boiler, and I don't know if we did something with the thermostat. I don't know if it's this place or another place, but I know something got done here before. Her heat wasn't working. It wasn't sinking to a Nest thermostat or something like that. But guys, I am almost there right now. Let's go take a look. I'll talk to y'all when I get inside. All right, guys. This is a 15-year-old Weil McLain setup here. Let me take the burners out and get started. I'll be back. All right, guys. A few things got done here. Last year, the relay in the fan center went out. We replaced the relay, and less than 3 years ago, this thermocouple got replaced. So this is an older boiler, but some minor work was done, which is only going to help this boiler out. I always tell customers the difference between boilers and furnaces. Some, if not most, boilers can give you at least 25 to 30 years if maintained. However, that's granted on the maintenance and the maintenance items getting replaced in time, because guys, snowball effects do happen. Like I said, not necessarily with thermocouples, but if the boiler's not serviced and cleaned, if dust continues to build up in the boiler, it's only a matter of time before now you have to deal with transformer issues or even aquastat issues with the newer boilers. But you definitely don't want to always get into habits of rolling the dice, especially with older equipment. But alright, guys, let me clean the burners off. I'll be right back. Hey guys, this is bringing back my old trade school days. This is a slotted burner. I think there's like 3 or 4 different types of burners. You got the bar burner, which looks almost like a cinder block. It's rectangle. You'll see these a lot on like very, very older boilers. But got slotted burners, hence in the name. The holes are just slots on the top. You also have something called ribbon burners. Ribbon burners and the bar burners are very old style. Most newer and conventional steam and hot water boilers are going to utilize these slot style burners. But guys, the old block style burners, I feel like one of those burners could weigh like 20 pounds if you try to lift them up and take them off. But different styles are for different purposes. But I guess for efficiency, they went away from the old block style and the ribbon style, and they went with this style here, which is the slotted. So guys, the more you know, the better. But typically, one of those block style or ribbon style burners ever were to like break, I'm talking like on the older boiler, I'm not even sure where you would get those from. We always replace these slot burners, and even on furnaces, they come as an assembly. These are very conventional and easy to get, but those older style burners, knock on wood, we never had that scenario in which the burner was, the burner had to get replaced. But yeah, guys, the more you know. But let me clean these burners and let's get these put back in. And I got some lubrication oil for that circulator pump there. These aren't self-lubricating. The new 007 pumps are self-lubricating, but these have lubrication ports. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but let me clean the burners and put these back in. I'll be back. Guys, now this is an old boiler. I know this thing has to be like at least close to 20 years old, but the reason I'm saying that is that this boiler doesn't utilize a conventional 007 circulator pump. This has a centrifugal pump. A centrifugal pump means you got 2 components instead of 1. You have the motor and then you have the impeller. Motor gets power, spins, and you guys see me replace a bunch of these in years past. There's the coupling, a flexible coupling that connects the shaft to the impeller. So when the motor turns, the impeller turns, and that's how this pump moves water to and from the boiler. Now, here's the most important part with the centrifugal pumps. These are not self-lubricating. There's 2 lubrication ports, one on the impeller, one on the pump. You don't have to get crazy with the lubrication. Now, what's important to understand is you got to know why you're here. We're not here for a pump issue. Typically, if the pump is already giving you issues, at that point it'll be too late to lubricate it. But a few drops on either port, if you're on a maintenance, meaning if the pump is actually still functioning, will help you. But the last thing you want to do is wait too long to lubricate the impeller and the pump. So be proactive with these things. To be honest, I never had to replace a motor. It was always a flexible coupler. I typically hear it's either Taco or Bell and Gossett that we'll see still have these centrifugal pumps, but not with Taco, but with Bell and Gossett. The flexible coupler is almost like a 4-part mechanism. We had to replace like a handful of those, but typically, you know, that flexible coupler is a maintenance item. Those things aren't really built for past like 7 or 8 years without it snapping. And now if that flexible coupler snaps, the boiler will still fire up, but the customer won't have heat because the motor will run, but the impeller won't. So now the boiler itself will get hot, but if the circulator doesn't move any water, now this could result in a no heat scenario. So keep it lubricated, and like I said, guys, you can't go wrong. But what I'm going to do is I got to get the lubrication oil for the pump and turn this back on. Check my pressure. It's still at 15. And I already turned this on earlier just to make sure that my supply pipe gets hot. Everything's rocking and rolling. But yeah. Now, another thing I forgot to mention, if this impeller, or if this centrifugal pump ever did go bad, you could just replace this with a 007. So guys, think about it like this: the benefits behind the 007 is that it takes up way less space than this monstrosity of a centrifugal pump having all this space. Now, granted, back in the day, this was the only option. That's why these were still around, and technically still is around. You can still get parts for this, but sometimes it's best to, if you can find the horsepower, if you can match everything up, sometimes it's best to just replace it with a 007. So now it's self-lubricating. You're not going to run a risk of this pump losing prime, and now you have to deal with issues down the line, even with a new centrifugal pump. So, but all right, guys, let me get what I need. I'm going to lubricate the pump, and this is a check and clean. Everything is rocking and rolling here. But I had to call this customer back. There's another call I got to get to pronto, but I'm going to lubricate the pump, wait for the pipes to heat up, and I'm going to head out of here. But there you have it. Boiler maintenance, Weil McLain, 20 years old, still rocking and rolling. You guys learned about burners, you learned about pumps, and we're going to rock and roll to the next call. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.